There's this kind of silence that doesn't make noise, but destroys everything. See, most marriages don't end in one dramatic moment. It fades slowly, through words that were never said, through tears that were never explained, through pain that was carried alone. And sometimes, the two people involved still love each other. They don't just know how to reach each other anymore. Bad communication is not always shouting. Sometimes it's withdrawal. Sometimes it's I'm fine when nothing is fine. Sometimes it's sleeping beside someone who feels miles away. I've seen couples struggle deeply, not because they hated each other, but because they didn't know how to speak without hurting or listen without defending. Let's take the struggle to have a child. Month after month of hope and disappointment, doctor's visits, quiet prayers, silent tears at night. The woman may feel like her body has failed her. The man may feel helpless, unable to fix what he cannot control. But instead of holding each other and say, I'm scared too, they retreat into themselves. Conversation becomes shorter, touch becomes rarer, and what started as a shared experience or a shared pain becomes isolated suffering. The problem here was never just infertility. It was the silence around it. Then there is financial pressure. Bills don't care about love. Responsibilities don't pause for emotions. One partner may feel overwhelmed trying to provide. The other may feel anxious about the uncertainty of tomorrow. But instead of saying, I'm worried, it comes out as frustration. It comes out as blame. It comes out as, we are not doing enough. And slowly, respect begins to erode. Then comes intimacy. This is the part many couples are ashamed to talk about. Sex becomes less frequent, not because attraction disappeared, but because emotional connection weakened. You cannot feel close to someone who feel unheard by. You cannot feel desired when resentment sits in the same boat with you. Intimacy doesn't die suddenly. It fades where communication fades. And in the middle of all this, social media whispers. It shows perfect families, perfect vacations, perfect love stories. It tells you if you are not happy, leave. It really tells you, have you tried to understand? You see, we begin comparing our private struggles to public highlights, and if we are not careful, we start believing that walking away is easier than walking through. Divorce is something necessary in painful and serious situations, but many homes could have been restored if only two people had just sat down without pride and spoken honestly. Effective communication in marriage is not about winning. It's about saying, I feel annoyed again. I'm afraid of losing us. I need to support. But
And then they listen, not to respond, but to understand.
listening with the intention to heal. Speaking the intention to view with. A happy home is not a home without problems, though. It's a home where problems are discussed gently, where fears are shared safely, where vulnerability is protected but polishes. Every marriage will face seasons of waiting, seasons of financial strain, seasons where passion needs to be built intentionally. But two people who choose communication over ego, understanding over pride, will always have a chance. So before you get divorced or before you give up, pause and ask yourself this question. Have we truly talked? Have we truly listened? Or have we just allowed silence go louder than love? Sometimes the difference between breaking and healing is just one honest conversation. Learn to speak with kindness, learn to listen with patience, and let your intentions be pure, because love does not survive feelings alone. It survives on understanding. And understanding begins with communication. This is one quiet and hard truth. When they become, learn to it.